Gripaholics, welcome to episode 117 of This Week in Grip. This is Jed Johnson from DieselCrew.com. Of course, you know they call me Napalm, and I'm joined by the esteemed Alan T. Hynek, Esquire, and Professor Crowbar himself, James Rederitas. Gentlemen, thank you for joining me on the call since you were both playing hooky last week. Don't rightly know when this episode is going to air, everybody. My laptop died, and I haven't quite managed to replace it just yet, which is why we had no show last week. But to make up for it, we're actually going to be posting a bonus show sometime this week for you, so stay tuned for that. Today, we'll be doing a quick show on Feats and other cool stuff that's been going on around the grip world. But before we get to that, we hope everyone in the USA had a most pleasant Thanksgiving. Just a reminder, we appreciate you listening to the show, so please give us a thumbs up and show your support. We welcome feedback and participation in the topics we discuss, so feel free to leave a comment. Hit the subscribe button and the little bell, and you'll get a notification every time a new video and episode of TWIG comes out. In addition, I'm doing a 31 days of Q&A this December. It was really popular last year, so you'll definitely want to subscribe for that. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment below, and they'll be covered during the series this month. I've already got a bunch logged, but if you want something answered, go ahead and leave a comment below, and I'll try to fit it in. And finally, please feel free to share this video and others with your friends who train grip. That's the best way to spread the word about our sport. And remember, the first rule of grip sport is you tell everyone about grip sport. So episode 116 was with Eric Rustain, and as I hinted at earlier, there was a little mix-up in communication because we actually did the show on Saturday, and James and Alan thought it was going to be on Sunday. So sorry about that, guys. We missed you during the call.
Yeah, you know what? That was my fault.
And mine as well. You definitely pointed out that it was on Saturday. I just completely overlooked it. So, yep, when I saw the message come through, I was grocery shopping. So, spaced it out completely.
So funny, so was I. Oh, my God. I had to go to my son's basketball game, and grocery shop that day. And it was like we were just leaving the grocery store to go to basketball or something. And I was like, oh, my gosh. I was like, how am I going to – and I was like, I can't do this. There's like no way I'll be able to do it, you know. So, yeah, I'm sorry I missed that too because, you know, I mean, I go back a long way with Eric, and I would really have loved to talk to Eric, not just about the stuff that he does for grip, which is a lot, but, you know, what he does for arm wrestling too, because he's got, to me, the most interesting arm wrestling Facebook page, the Arm Wrestling Archive site.
It's really awesome.
It's phenomenal. Yeah, there's always really cool stuff up there that I didn't even know, and I'm definitely a student of that sport. So it would have been really cool to talk to Eric, and you know, and also, you know, in many ways, Eric and I came up in the sport, maybe not together because he was up in Canada, but around the same time. So I would imagine we would have had a lot to talk about. So I'm sorry I missed that.
Well, maybe we'll get him on here again. He's an excellent guest. Lots of people know who Eric is, both from grip sport and arm wrestling. So it would definitely be a good show to have him where we concentrate more on arm wrestling. So maybe we can get him on here again sometime.
Oh,
that would be great.
Cool. So the plan for today is to knock out a quick one, and we'll just cover some of the stuff that's been going on around the world. And I know that James just had a really cool trip. So why don't you tell us about what you did last weekend, James?
Well, I mean, I don't know how much detail I should go into just because I was filming something for Dennis Rogers, and we're not exactly sure what it's going to be, like what platform it's going to be broadcast on. But essentially what it was he wanted me to come out and talk arm strength and bicep training and stuff like that, because he's been following kind of my preacher curl journey for a while and my strict curl journey for a while, and he's such a historian of strength. I mean, he's one of the first people who told me about Val Vasilev's 150-pound curl from years ago with a dumbbell that was on more of a table type apparatus rather than a preacher, and he wanted me to come on and just talk about bicep training and strength training, and since he and I have had a similar trajectory, starting out in arm wrestling, he wanted to talk about that too with me. So we did about an hour-long interview, and then did some different feats of strength. He took me through his old-time strongman university training. So we did a lot of driving nails through boards and bending horseshoes, and my double overhand steel bending is awful right now, and I suspect it has to do with the shoulder surgery. Did a lot of feats with his 27-pound sword, which is fun to play with, and did all kinds of stuff, tearing cards and tearing phone books, and we went to lunch and lifted some weights, and it was a really good time. I mean, I really, this probably doesn't surprise a lot of people, but when I get together with somebody like Dennis, I actually enjoy probably the talking more than the actual training, just because I don't know. I mean, I just like to go deep with people when we talk about stuff, and he's a great guy to do that with. He's definitely an unbelievable ambassador. I mean, you've never seen somebody whose phone is constantly ringing, and it's constantly ringing from people that he's helped over the years. So that stay in touch, and he's just that kind of guy, and I'm honored to go out and train with him and hang out with him and call him my friend. So it was a good time. It was a really good time out there.
That's really cool, James. And I saw one clip that I believe it was Dennis that posted it, and I saw that you were in the video, so I was like, oh boy, they got something cool going on. Are you able to tell us what that was that he posted? That I don't know what that object was, but it looked like a pretty impressive feat. It looked almost like a bell-shaped deal with a ball in it, and it looked like it reminded me of like a child's game. Like I think I bought that one time at the store by my house when I was like 8 or something like that, but it was made out of plastic.
Yeah, and do you remember how hard it was to get the little ball in the cup with that little game that you get when you were a kid? Yeah. So and it's still hard because he's got one there, and I was like playing with it, like a little plastic one with the little foam ball. He had his special made, and it's like 33 pounds, and it's got like a cannonball on the end of a chain, so
right.
It feels so ridiculous. It doesn't even feel possible when you pick the thing up. But he said he's at a point now where he pretty much gets it every time. And, he's put it in his shows and stuff too, because it's like he said, it's a really relatable thing. It's like people can relate to the ball and cup game from when they were a kid, especially the older people. And when they get a chance to feel that thing, it's like, oh my gosh, like it's like, how is that even possible? But I guess since he's been doing it for so long, I think he had it made a couple of years ago, that he can get it pretty much every time now. So yeah,
wow.
that's what he was doing there. Yeah. And
so
he took a few other video clips, but I think he's going to include it in sort of the interview that he and I did. And
right.
like I said, we're just not sure what platform that's going to end up on. Because it started out, it was supposed to be for one thing, and it looks like that thing's not going to happen, so it might be for something else. But regardless, it's like, if he needs me for something, wants me for something, he just has to ask. So that's
cool, man. Great. It'll be
fun.
awesome to see what comes out. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, I think so too. I think, the interview portion went really well too. So, we kind of just, it's funny, during the interview, even though we've talked a million times, it's like during the interview, I think we drew out some other parallels between us that, we probably didn't recognize before. So it was pretty cool. Well, I thought it was cool, but then again, I was involved in it. So we'll see if other people are interested in it.
I'm sure it's going to be great. What anything else, James, to cover from that trip?
Not really. No. I mean, it was just a quick weekend trip. Went out with my wife and had one day with Dennis, and the next day just seeing the sights. Even though there is, if anyone is listening, there is a Jackson dumbbell that's in the Houston area. If they're listening, there's this antique store in the Heights. I can't think of the name of the antique store, but they have a 50-pound Jackson Globe dumbbell for like $140. So any collectors out there, if you're in the Houston area, find that sucker, because I would have brought it home with me, but I don't think I would have got it through security. So.
Now, is that a pretty good price, James? I'm not familiar with that market or that specific manufacturer, so I'm thinking that's a pretty rare dumbbell.
Oh yeah, that's a very rare dumbbell. It is an orphan too, because he didn't. I asked him if he had the second one, and he said no. But
did you ask if he had a hacksaw, James?
Oh.
I had to.
No, of course not. Of course not. Yeah, I actually gave him explicit instructions not to sell it to anyone with a hacksaw. Even if they had one anywhere near them, do not sell it to them. So yeah.
That would be a shame on that one. I'll give you that. those are so rare. Yeah, that would be that's blasphemous. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just sitting there, and he said he's had it there for years. And I think it's just that people who do collect weights don't seem to make it into antique stores.
Oh, he should post really that then online or eBay or something, because that baby would go.
Well, it's funny. I was telling him about the dumbbell. I was telling him about it. Just about around the era when it was made, and how it's earlier than even the York Globe belts. And he was interested, but he says, "Well, I can't get rid of the thing." And I'm like, he's like, "Yeah, I just think it's worth more." And he says, "Well, it might be worth more, but it's not worth more if I can't sell it for what I got it at." And I said, "Well, I'll just put it this way. If I didn't have to get on a flight this afternoon, you would have sold it for what you had it at easily." And I just sort of left it at that with him. But yeah, so we had a great time. I mean, it was, it's always nice to get away and do all that stuff. I just feel, I don't know, Jed, have you ever broken chains with a handle? Like where you have the chain attached to the floor, and then you pull on the handle, and then the chain snaps? Have you done that before?
I've done it with very, very small chain. Nothing very impressive. It was more like an in-between feat that I did in shows in the past. But I mean, people have broken far more impressive chain than what I was doing.
Likewise, but what I found is that is not the kind of feat that I really want to practice. Because, there's something about going from applying all of that force on something to all of a sudden it just disappears, Yeah. All that force dissipates into nothing instantly. Yeah. So it's crazy because I was supposed to deadlift this week, and I did, against my better judgment, I deadlifted this week. But I just felt destroyed from that,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just absolutely destroyed, and I was like, why do I do some of this shit? So yeah, that's not a feat I'm going to be working on. I figured that out,
It's a combination of
injury-ridden.
It's a combination of tearing a deck of bicycles and the outside cards break all at the same time, plus ripping a phone book and your hand slips off because the cover was dusty, plus punching yourself in the face because your wraps shifted on you in a double overhand steel bend. It's all those three combined.
Yeah.
And it's like a tremendous tension release, all this, like a full body tension release. It feels terrible.
It feels awful. Yeah. Yeah. And card tearing feels awful too, because I don't really tear. You know, Jason and Gary do a lot of tearing, but Dennis was showing me, you know, how to tear, and I was able to tear a deck of Mavericks pretty quickly. But it was weird. It's like he gave me such great, you know, pointers that it went from like I felt like I couldn't tear anything to all of a sudden they just ripped almost completely in half, and I was like, whoa. You know, it's so interesting how much technique helps with the card tearing. But yeah, that leaves like the inside of your knuckles so raw, like if you're not used to it, you know. So I was like, I don't know, I was being half of a Sally. I almost wanted to like tap out just from the card tearing.
Yeah.
But I stuck with it. So, but yeah,
cool,
that's pretty much what happened. Yeah. Yeah.
Sweet.
And I'm actually, it's funny because I'm just getting home from Bob's today, and you know, I managed to pull off a feat I've been working on for a long time today. And that's the sledge lever where you deadlift it from the ground and put it into a lever with a 10-pound sledge. I've been working on that for a while, and today I was able to get it for the first time.
Nice.
Yeah.
Congratulations, bro.
Pretty good. So, yeah, so enough about me, man. What's going on with you guys?
Nothing's really going on with me, man. How about you, Alan?
No, I've been so busy. Training's kind of been pretty sparse here and there. I did go to arm wrestling practice with Devin yesterday, and that was a lot of fun. Left arm's a sore as shit today, but right, not so bad.
Wait till tomorrow.
Yeah, I imagine. No, it was a lot of fun. I swear my forearms are actually bigger today than they were yesterday, though. So there must be some like inflammation going on. But
isn't it
cool.
funny that's how arm wrestling presents? It feels like, you know, everything is not only growing, but you can actually watch it grow. You know, your forearms just have a different quality about it the next day.
They do. I swear, like they kind of almost they look kind of funny in spots. Like there's suddenly like some muscle there that never existed before. It's kind of strange. But you know how like you see those really battle hardened arm wrestlers, their forearms look kind of deformed in spots. Like they're just really thick in areas where you don't see them on other people. I feel like I kind of got like a small percentage of that. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. That's it, man.
It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. There's no two ways about it. I don't, really know what the hell I'm doing. But yeah, it's I tell you what, it's a way to shock some growth into things though. Put stresses on stuff. I mean, even like my hands kind of feel sore, like the bones might have started to crack or something. It's just kind of weird. It's like I can't really grip things today. It's just it's strange,
Yes, that's how arm wrestling presents. Certainly is.
But a lot of fun. Great. I mean, yeah, I want to stick with it. At least I don't know that I want to get beat to hell at some arm wrestling match or anything like that. But the training and the practice is fun.
Yes, yeah, it is, and I mean, I hope you're starting slow with it. You're not doing any kind of faster movements. I always tell people when you're starting out arm wrestling, like really work into it slow. Don't do anything, just slow, controlled, strong movements. With good technique. And once you get the muscle memory down, that's when you can start working on, speed and counter moves and stuff like that. So.
Yep.
So I hope I hope that's what they did with you.
Well, yeah, and luckily, Devin Brown, being that I go with him, and he's strong, but he's super smart too. So he doesn't, he knows my medical history. He doesn't, he just lets me work. He doesn't do anything. He can do whatever he wants on the table with me. But it's just it's good quality work. Nothing that would put me in risk. If he sees me doing something stupid, like not staying squared up, not looking at my hand and things, he lets me know right away so I don't get into trouble.
Good.
So at least I got somebody I can trust working with me. So
there you go.
And he doesn't pair me up with people that are going to explode into me and tear something off. You know,
yeah,
so.
and that's the thing is you always have those guys like when you're starting out that want to treat you like a crash test dummy, you know.
Well, I know they forget that you're at practice and they act like it's a freaking full-on tournament or something, you know.
Yeah,
and
well, that's the thing.
I definitely don't want that. Yeah, right. Yeah.
It's one of the issues that I faced when I moved to North Carolina, actually, because in Connecticut, you know, I had such a good crew of guys that came from all over New England every week, and we trained, and you know, we knew how to work with each other. And when I moved here, it was like, you know, you'd grip up with somebody, and it was like, you know, every time you gripped up with them, it was like a tournament match to the death kind of thing. And I'd be like, whoa, settle down there, slugger. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
right. We're trying to work on stuff here. This isn't a tournament, you know. So yeah. It's good you have a good trainer, because that is priceless in that sport. And Alan, you know what you said earlier is true. You're gonna see strength gains in places that you wouldn't have otherwise if you didn't arm wrestle.
Yeah, yep, for sure. So yep, it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's good, man. That's awesome. So, Feats. What do we got?
Yeah, let's go ahead and knock off some Feats, guys. I was looking at my list, and I had some things that they've accumulated over the last few months. So maybe I'll just go ahead and start rattling a few things off, if you guys don't mind.
Yeah, go for it.
Well, cool. So I was actually coaching a guy for a while this year. His name is Andrew Denham, and he goes by Andrew_FitGrit, FITGRIT. And he actually ran a competition earlier this year. It wasn't a sanctioned meet or anything like that. He just wanted to make it a fun kind of thing, but it was called the Fit Grit Grip Competition. It was September 28th at Royal Barbell in I can't remember what. I think he's in Springfield, Missouri, and he sent a little write-up for us. He said the highlights were we had two amateurs getting 160 and 170 on the Rolling Thunder, a grade 5 bolt bend in 26 seconds by Adam Cassidy, who's only been bending just over a month, and surprisingly, everyone got a grade 2 bolt or higher. He had the same guy, Adam, max out on the 6-pound hammer deadlift with a coin, which was basically the sledge choke to a 16-inch crossbar instead of an 18-inch platform, and then 37 pounds on the mammoth coin lift. So those were some of the highlights. Again, just like an entry-level competition. Andrew is getting into grip and wanted to do something to get more people involved, and that's the kind of stuff that we need. It doesn't always have to be a full-fledged, you know, qualifier for North American Championship or anything like that when you're running a contest. Just, you know, get people exposed to it, man. That's what it's all about. You tell everyone about grip sport, first rule. So I wanted to get that in there, and we just haven't had a chance to really work that in. So I wanted to make sure to cover that. A couple other things. These are from Jerome Bloom. One thing we never covered was his coin stack challenge. Do you guys remember seeing stuff about that?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I thought we did talk about that. We didn't talk about the coin stack challenge?
Man, I don't think we hit on it.
Because I could have sworn you even went over the rules and the different kind of coins that you had to use.
I actually thought you did. I remember that too.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, I was reminded of that because the next post up on Andrew's Instagram was a lift for the coin stack challenge. So go ahead and work my way down here. Jason Gonzalez did a lift. He transferred a 150 baby inch from hand to hand.
Wow. Man, I was trying to do that with the 135 today. That is just, I don't know how you guys do that stuff. Because, man, does that rotation get going on that bell when you try to transfer it?
Right.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I can't do it, but I know what you're talking about rotation-wise.
Yeah, that's awesome that he can do that. It's just, man, that's a hard feat.
And then one other thing from Jerome. Did you guys see the tool that he is developing called the Mobius?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
I saw that.
I haven't seen anything more on that since I added it to my note sheet, but Have you guys seen anything on that? Any lifts, or have we established what some good lifts are, or anything along those lines?
I haven't paid enough attention to see what would be like a good lift or elites. I don't know about you, Alan.
No, I hadn't either. I do think it looks like it's a really neat device to me. I think he did a really nice job of making it. It looks like a piece of art, from my perspective. But
right.
I hadn't seen anything or even heard anybody that had any yet. I thought it was a limited production run. Wasn't he making just like a half a dozen or so? Yeah, unfortunately, I just don't know that much about it.
Yeah. I don't know what
I
saw one of the things that I thought was pretty cool. I don't know if you guys saw this, but Sam Parker doing a shallow hub lift with a 25-kilogram plate. Did you guys see that?
No.
A 25-kilogram plate?
Yeah. I think we've talked about him before because he's the guy that cleaned the 245s. Or the
I definitely know who you're talking about. I just didn't see that feat. That's a monster feat.
Yeah. I guess
what kind of plate was that?
I want to say it was a York plate. I'd have to go back and look at it. I think I took a screen. So a lot of times when we do these feat shows, what I do is I'll take screenshots of the different feats, just so I can kind of keep track while we're on the phone.
Sure.
So let me take a look and see if I can find this really quick.
Well, that's badass.
Yeah, it is.
I was trying to find the definition of that Mobius. You go ahead and dig that up, James. I was trying to find it. I thought I had notes on it, and I can't find it. But basically, I remember him saying that it essentially becomes a shape that is only one-sided because it's got a twist in it. So it looks like it's a ring, but it's really only got like one side. And I wish I could give you a better explanation of it, but if anybody looks up Mobius, Mobius, you'll be able to see a picture of it.
Yeah, it's kind of like a spirally kind of hub kind of thing, right?
Correct.
Yeah, and I found it. It's a body power plate, 25 kilograms that he's doing it with, but it's still a very shallow hub in this video. So I don't know. I think that's the first person I've seen do that, even though I did see a really cool shallow hub feat from Joel Dirks where he took are we thinking about the same one where he took
where he front raised the thing?
Yeah, he front raised the 45-pound plate. And in his description, he says Brian Shaw is the only other person he's seen do that. So
I hadn't even seen Brian Shaw do it. Joel freaking nailed it. I hadn't seen such a thing because he was doing. I don't know if he did that with like one of those, those wagon wheels, those Titan wagon wheels or Roke wagon wheels.
It's funny. I was over at Used Gym Store on Wednesday, and they had exactly that same wagon wheel. So I was like, hey, Joel makes this look easy. Let me give this a shot. I think I can get this. Nah, man, that is not an easy hub at all.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not even easy to hub, let alone do that kind of shit. Yeah.
Yep.
That's a whole nother. Yep. That's crazy. Yep.
How about you, Alan? Have you noticed any feats that have gone down recently that you've logged?
So the most recent one would be David Chamey's MM1 cert. I don't know if any of you guys caught that. Should have been no surprise.
I didn't see it, so give us a description.
Well, yeah, so, obviously this guy's closing some big-ass grippers, right, some number 4s and stuff. So the fact that he shut this wouldn't have been a mystery to anybody. But this was the first MASH Monster cert ever that I'd seen where you could hear the handles click. He closed it so fast that it was – I'm not shitting you. It was an audible click. It was just absolutely ridiculous. If you blinked your eyes, you missed it. You could just hear it. Yeah. So it was no questions asked. Yep. Well, heavy as a machine, then turned around and hit it. I think that was with his right hand that you heard the click, and then he went and inserted his left hand in it. I mean, still an easy close, but it's clear his right hand's the more dominant one. So yeah, we'll see how far he can. I think he'll assert him just as fast as he can get him.
Yeah, I was going to say he's probably going to he's probably going to struggle with that MM2, huh?
Yeah, right. I thought for a second I thought he was just going to rep it out, and he didn't do it. So no showboating, but he definitely could have clicked out a bunch if he'd been interested. So
crazy. Have you guys been paying attention to the Fat Grips challenge thing?
I had a little bit, but that
okay, but not so
much.
No,
I don't know. The fat grips don't really excite me too much. I think from a training point of view, yeah, but when I see people like doing feats with them, I don't know. That's just not my thing personally. But
well, I just noticed that Alexi had done them with the blue fat grips. He'd done 200 kilograms on that lift, and I know they say it's a lot harder than doing it on an axle. That the fat, whatever you do on an axle, you're usually going to reduce weight with the fat grips. So I just thought I'd bring that up. I saw that and was like, wow, that's pretty substantial. I don't think I'd seen anyone else do more than that on that specific challenge. I don't know about you guys, but I guess you guys haven't been paying too much attention to that.
I know. Devin Brown was doing some of those, and I remember he remarked that he was expecting it to actually be easier than on an axle because he thought it would have some give and stuff, and he noted what you said, that it was actually a harder thing. So that surprised him a little bit. But yeah. So I've just seen a couple people do it.
Yeah. It almost seems like the fat grips. What is it called? They like misshapen. And instead of like having your fingers wrapped under it, it's like it becomes almost like a flat finger lift, James. Isn't that what it's called in arm wrestling? Flat finger position?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like that. And with that in a almost a crimp, it almost becomes a crimp because the fat grips around like 350, they seem to compress and misshapen it, and it feels weird in your hand, much different from an axle. And it wants to like squirt out too, almost like roll out of your hand, even like because of that misshapenness.
Well, that's good information that Alan and I probably never would have figured out on our own.
Right, I was just going to say that. Yeah, 350 pounds. No freaking clue.
Well, what's possible is it may happen earlier if you're not able to get that weight up. Let's say you're closer to 300 pounds. Because you end up losing your position on the grip, that's what might cause the misshapen feeling. I'm not sure, just hypothesizing there. But if you try it, you'll feel it. You'll eventually feel that compression takes place in the rubber, and it feels like it wants to squirt out of your hand.
Huh. Interesting.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, the only other feat that I had that I noticed was Carl August Mertz became the third person, I guess, to do the double shallow 20-kilogram hub, like one in each hand. He said that the third man in Germany, Florian Tellersman and Simon Mihalski. So I thought that was a pretty cool lift too. I picked that one up from Instagram. So,
and I think that's a good one to end on right there for our feats this week, because in episode 118, we're actually going to be doing some talking about hub lifting. We're going to give our opinions. I know I have a pretty strong opinion of hub lifting, and we're going to want to know what everyone else thinks too. So that's going to be a good one to get a conversation going in the comments. So anything else from you guys right now? Or
I had one quick one I wanted to mention. Did you guys catch Devin's 75-pound, half 75-pound blob flip and catch?
No, I did not.
Okay, I'd never seen anybody do that. He did it at my place just a couple weeks back. He videoed it and posted it on Instagram, but I've never seen. I know it's not 100, but it was a 75-pound blob. He lifted it to lockout. He flipped it and then caught it. I've never seen anybody do that or try it, for that matter.
That sounds like a thumb injury waiting to happen. But
it was crazy. He tried it a lot before he finally got it.
Yeah.
But I'd never seen anybody do it. It was seriously impressive. I figured more people would jump on it. I figured Jed and Luke could be trying to like flip Blobzilla or something. But it was crazy.
Dude, I never saw that feat. I never saw that clip. I just haven't spent enough time on Instagram, I guess, missing some really good stuff. But now that you bring that up, Luke is getting really close to lifting Blobzilla left-handed and got several nice lifts with it right-handed in Thursday's workout. So that could be something coming down the pipe real soon.
Yeah, he's got to curl that thing then, too.
Blobzilla, so maybe he'll do a double Blobzilla lift sometime soon. We'll have to see. But that's a great feat. The only thing I've heard similar to that that Devin did, Alan, was Wade Gillingham posted a facelift video years and years ago with a 50-pound blob, and he released it in the air and then caught it in a normal grip. I don't know if you remember seeing that years ago.
I bet you I'll put that one on I'll put that one on Devin's radar then. He's got the palm size. He's got the hand span to facelift something like that. So, strength I can't say one. Well, he's strong enough. He probably have to practice for that one quite a bit.
Yeah,
but
the timing is crazy, and the luck of the angle when you get that secondary grip on there is. I've tried it dozens of times, Alan. I've never been able to knock it out. So it's very complex.
Oh wow!
I'd imagine you'd want to do that in like the sand or something. Otherwise, that thing's going to hit the ground and take out an ankle. That's just nuts.
It'll bounce on you. It'll bounce.
Yeah.
All right.
Or do it at a place like Bob's house today, where we're ankle deep in mud.
Oh,
yeah. 65 degrees and raining in December.
So you're good then. You're protected. You're like Arnold when he's being stalked by the predator, but he can't see him because he's hidden in the mud.
That's it. You're covered up. Everything but the eyes.
Yeah, that's good. All right, cool guys. Good short show. Alan, why don't you take it away? It's yours, brother.
All right. Well, that's it for episode 117 of This Week in Grip, Feats episode we haven't had in a while. I hope everybody enjoyed it. We'll see you next week with another one. Talk to you later.